Yo. Chat, I am so firmly in my vindication era. I have all this power and I don't know what to do with it. Also, I'm still sick. So, you know, when is Carla coming back? When I get, when I feel like it, honestly, is the answer. No role models to speak up. What's up, chat? One's in the chat if you can never watch because it's like a crazy time where you are now, or when I usually stream. No one's. That's how it be. I'm sick. Anyway, the stream won't be long today. Uh, how's it going? I have COVID. For all the people who don't usually watch me in the morning because they literally can't. I have COVID, so I'm sick. I'm streaming right now because I probably won't be able to stream tomorrow. Valorant, no. I'm streaming now probably because I won't be able to stream tomorrow because I'm going to take the entire day off and I'm going to rest. But I have some things that I want to get out and I want to say. Cause I'm in my vindication era. Okay, let's be real. You can talk about my eyes. Look at my eyes, chat. I look bad. I look rough. Also, you can tell this way I have a little scar here. Got a little pimple. I'm going through a lot right now. Don't cough on this. Oh, don't worry. I've been coughing on everywhere. False negative test, huh? No, I think I think it just didn't show up at the test. Cause sometimes COVID does that. Like you will be sick. You'll be symptomatic, but like I said, it's called technically a false negative test. Yeah. Steam your face with hot water and essential oils. I can't do that because the only essential oils I have is from my ex girlfriend. It'll make me sad. I texted her today just because I still have some of her clothes at my house. Regard to me, no, because I always look rough. I always look a little bit chopped, so that when I show up at somewhere like the Streamer Awards, they're like, "Oh man, who is that? Why does he look like that? He look kind of crazy." Because they're not used to it like that. See, you're not understanding my five-headed plays. You know, you're not understanding my five-headed plays. Ugly on purpose? No, no, no. I'm medium ugly on purpose. No, I'm not ugly, ugly. I'm medium ugly on purpose. I don't. It's like how how in Dragon Ball Z Goku starts a fight at base form. That's what I do. You never power up to Super Saiyan Blue immediately and start clapping and whipping people. Cause like, where's the fun in that? Where's the Saiyan pride in that? You know what I mean? Where's the fighting spirit in that? It doesn't exist. So you start in base and you kind of like when they transform, you transform. You know, they transform, you transform, and then boom, you're stronger. So right now, this is my base form. This is where I normally sit at. I normally stay out. Scary surprise stream. Inflict wounds. Thank you for the gifted sub. I'm sorry, I read your name and I was like, my mind immediately flashed to like Dungeons and Dragons, which maybe we'll work on a little bit later today because that shouldn't take a lot of talking just to do. As you can tell, I'm struggling. Um, is a D&D spell? It is. It is a third level necromancy. I know my Dungeons and Dragons. That's right. I'm a nerd. Nerds are cool. They're in style now. Slumby Space Princess, thank you for the 12 months. Happy birthday to us. Or to you and to me. That was the first level if you're a barbarian. It is a first level, you're right. I don't know my D&D. I never use it. I just never use it. That's my answer, my response. Like when I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, I just never use it because I'm like, when am I ever going to put my cleric next to like a old dude, you know? A baddie. But not like a beautiful girl baddie, but like a bad person baddie. You know? Secretary Trans Tifa, thank you for the I'm dying. 19 months. Tempest Cleric on top. I can see that. But Cleric. I feel bad because I'm the reason why our D&D campaign failed that I mean my friends were playing. Mostly, okay, no, I'm actually not the reason. It failed because I'm slightly vindictive. And we were supposed to have a session. This is like our third session or whatever. And two people joined on their phones inside of like the Chick-fil-A restaurant. And I'm like, how are we supposed to play on the virtual tabletop on your phones? You know? And I spent all this time, because it was our first session virtually. Because we usually play in person. Because then I moved to Los Angeles. Whole thing. And then like their connection kept dropping and stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I just don't want to deal with this. And so next week came, and then next week went, and I didn't, you know, and it kind of just fell through. Cause I was like, that was a little bit frustrating, you know. They didn't know though, you know. We could have played like theater of the mind style, like I just described the setting and I roll their dice or whatever, right? But like at that point, I was just like, I literally spent like an entire week setting up this entire virtual tabletop thing, right? Making their character tokens. I made their entire characters inside of the virtual tabletop, and they just didn't care enough to like show up at like a regular place. But we haven't played since, and that was like 3 months ago. So late stream, yeah. That, speaking of which, thank you for reminding me. The reason why I'm here, right on D&D game for my students, playing with a bad connection in person, live in the evening. Yes, I'm here for one reason and one reason only. Who here has seen my tweet? Because you're never wrong. Yes, literally that. Who here has seen my tweet? If you haven't, no worries. I will show it to you. I'm watching Hassan. Hassan goes offline. I'm scrolling through Twitter. I see a lot of discourse. I see Brian Tyler Cohen respond. I see David Pakman respond. I see Olivia say she's going to respond. I see I see Aaron Parnas respond. I see Ray Caroline. Caroline's talking about it. Hassan's talking about it. I had a thought. I was like, I talked to Hassan like live a year ago about Too Raw, Too Stupid. And I'm pretty sure I talked to Hassan about this thing as well. You know what I mean? And so I went back and I checked. I literally went back and I checked. And it was in a video, right, that Hasanabi Productions uploaded. Right? Investigating TikTok political commentators featuring Shauna Black. And so if you don't know anything about what we're talking about, like you don't know who these people are, you're like, what is going on? Why is everybody talking about political TikTokers? We'll get to Taylor Lorentz's article in a second. Somebody find me a link to Taylor Lorentz's article.
Knew he was old.
Spoiling, as in like I'm decaying. Like spoiling the story. Okay, I have it. Now, I don't know if I literally don't know if I can read all of this because my voice is going to give out on me, and at any second, I can feel it in my throat. That's what she said, or he said. But woke. But there was a moment in here because I go to the transcript, right? I go to the transcript and I search paid, right? And then there's this actual TikTokers.
Yeah, but like, who are the actual TikTokers? Is it like the Harry kid that got paid by the DNC? Do you know him?
I do know Harry.
Do all the TikTokers know each other? Like all the Gen Z TikTokers that do politics know each other?
Yes.
And there's a oh boy guy.
Yes, they're
Big news.
right. So like, we can go through this if we so choose to. But the point that I want to look at and I want to show you is actually didn't show up here. It's actually this timestamp. Right? I thought it was this timestamp. I literally just edited this section.
And then like it went into a
I'm tired of proper
situation that shocked it enough to take. You put him near.
Am I going crazy? Did I not just? Oh no! Okay. This is later. This is later in the VOD. It's here actually. It's at 9 minutes. Right? And so I just want you to listen to this. Obviously, I do have to my Twitter post. But I want to show you that it was literally in. Oh, okay. Here's what it was. This is on Hassan's channel. I saw it on Hassan Productions channel. Right? So that's why it was like slightly off. Right? The timing was a little bit off. But this is what I said. That specifically from like the influencer side of it, they were offering influence
Villain, showcasing once again that like even when you're winning, you're still losing.
You know the crazy part about that, specifically from like the influencer side of it, they were offering influencers like thousands of dollars in order to post only good things about the IRA. And if you were like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit critical in my video, and they'd be like, oh, you're critical? You know why I always say if you see influencers that are unable to be critical of Biden to any degree, there is a good chance that through some maybe proxies or organizations, they're getting paid to say the things that they're saying.
If Trump wins, you will be
influencers who are unable to be critical of Biden. Just keep in mind, this is like February 19th, 2024. If you see influencers who are unable to be critical of Biden, right, there's a good chance that they're getting paid through some sort, say. And it sounds eerily similar to a dark money group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. I wrote on Twitter. I saw this and I was like, I knew I talked about this. I was literally saying it a few days ago. I was like, I talked about this, right? I knew I talked about this because I did. I just want to say thank you for inspiring me over a year ago to get involved in my community, speak up for Palestine. I didn't know how I could do anything, but you said to get involved in the community, so I spent the last year in uni making an animated film with an amazing team of students. The aim of the film is to humanize the people of Palestine. That's sick, chatter. W. glad to see that I helped, even if it's just a little bit. I don't think I have that big of an influence, but I do appreciate being involved in that story. Yeah, this is what I posted on Twitter. I said, because I'm sick, I cough all the time. You know the crazy part about that, specifically from like the influencer side of it, they were offering influencers like thousands of dollars in order to post only good things about the IRA. And if you were like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit critical in my video, and they'd be like, oh, you're critical, you don't get the money. And so if you see influence of Biden to any degree, there is a good chance that through some maybe proxies or organizations, they're getting paid to say the things that they are getting said. Yeah. Yeah. Looked at Brian's profile, and he only posted once about Palestine from October 8th, 2023 to 11/6, and it was to defend supporting Biden. Yeah. Right. And we'll get to like what the responses are in a second. But I just want to show, right? I still don't get it where you spoiled on 2025 or just speculations. No, chat. There's no way to describe this except for saying I spoke about this because I knew that for a fact. Right? I work with these people. Right? And if you need more evidence of this is a little bit embarrassing of me. This is my Ethan Klein level past. No, that's not it. Do I have to go searching for it? Please don't make me. Please do not to make me. Okay, sure. I'll go find it. Wait, is it because she's blocked that I have to? Because I have her blocked on TikTok. Okay. I'm gonna be scrolling for a while to find the video. I'm not sure if it's speculation. No, like I'm speaking for I know these people, chat. If you don't know, streaming was not always the thing that I did. I used to be, back in my day, I used to be a political TikToker, chat. I know. Get your booze out now. I started on like doing like political content on TikTok. You got paid? No, I got paid $0. I literally made $0, right, for posting videos on freaking TikTok. Wait, did Olivia delete all of her old content? Stop. No, this is my TikTok is just bugged, right? It's 100% bugged. Were you a lib? No. Here. There's a TikTok of me and Olivia literally together. If it's my old TikTok name. It is not my old TikTok name. I showed this before, chat. Y'all remember it? Yeah, no, her old content is still here. She might have deleted the video that we had together. Honestly. Anyway, the point is we worked together in like 2022. And no, I was never a lib. At the very most, I was like a sock dem or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I was never like I always hated capitalism for like other reasons or whatever. Also, Chatter, if you send me this, I'm not gonna be live tomorrow. Send this in the Discord. Because I don't know if I'll have time to cover it today. But if it's not tomorrow, then when I come back, we'll look at it. If you're in the Discord, where you were Bernie, bro, I was too young to vote for Bernie. What Discord? My Discord. Anyway, point being is that like I know these people. I've been in rooms with these people. I've talked with these people. Dinner together, right? They suck. Is my response. Obviously not all. Point is that if you're in the youth nonprofit content space, by and large, everybody kind of knows what goes on there. Right? There are conferences that happen that like you have to be in certain people's good graces to get invited to. Guess who's never invited? You know what I mean? There's like invites to the White House and stuff. Like, you're like, how did Olivia meet Joe Biden? How did she get invited to the White House? How did some of these people with like 100,000 followers get invited over like Hassan to like talk about left-wing content at the White House? What is the delineating factor here? What's going on? The answer is, right, it's a big club and you ain't in it. And you ain't in it because you're not riding the line of riding for the Democratic Party. It's not even just Palestine. Palestine is the new issue the Democrats suck on, right? And they want like the base to shut up about so they can just still lose elections. You know? But before that, it was climate and labor, right? And abortion and guns. If you're not a mouthpiece for the party doesn't want you. We should be back. Yeah, no, that was entirely my fault. That was entirely my fault. Vindication has its price. Refresh, F5, F5, F5. I remember Elise getting banned from events after doing it for climate. Elise should get banned from events for giving me freaking COVID, okay? I'm not letting her live that down. She Jeez the freaking wheeze. That's right. That's a part of my tell-all too. She gave me COVID like freaking 4 days ago. And then she just left. She just effed off somewhere else, leaving me here with COVID. And none of my other friends got COVID. That makes no sense. Makes no sense. We were all literally in the same room. Call her on stream. No, it's 8 p.m. I'm not going to call her on stream at 8 p.m. That would be funny, though. That would be funny content. COVID targeting certain demographics, exactly. Anyway, point being, right? The point that I want to make is that it is literally not boys club, but it's a club, right? And I have been talking about this. This isn't even like an Ethan Klein vindicated moment type thing. Like, was Ethan Klein bad back then? Yes. Is he bad now? Yes. Like, that's not even a surprise. You know what I mean? That's like, oh, the sun's going to rise in the morning. You know what I mean? Oh, the sky is blue. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like, that's normal. Yeah, Ethan Klein is bad. Oh, I'm an oracle. I'm a prophet for saying Ethan Klein is bad. You know? But like, this is a thing that I had like direct, intricate knowledge of. Right? This that I've been talking about. Right? That I've been talking about, and that everybody's like, sure, whatever. And nobody's taken seriously. And I'm so happy, right? I'm so happy that people are now finally taking it a little bit seriously. You talking about this, I always found it interesting. Yeah, because like this was literally my like overlap of knowledge in these rooms. Right? I was literally in these rooms. People were bragging to me about how much money they were making, right, from the DNC or affiliated organizations to post videos and content, right? I saw in real time how turn from like somebody who's like a leftist or who believed leftist things or whatever into being a Democratic Party. You know the cartoon era. You see like a person get like actual like money bags in their eyes. You know? F? No, there shouldn't be an F. Stream is stuttering. Why is the stream stuttering? Man, they may actually be trying to take me down. That's mostly a joke. They're not trying to take me down. This is why you download something? No, I'm not downloading anything. Which is why it's weird. Here, let me close this. Let me close this. Let me close this. There's a lot open in the background, but like nothing that's like crazy. Here, let me close these. In case they're like open, persisting in the back. Just in case. This one too. And this one. I become a K-Hiver again to fix the stream. Battle Pendleton is doing a victory lap right now. I know it. I just want to send you this because I think it'd make you laugh. It's good reaction to me posting a picture of him and Wiflo stream. Good fun. Maybe get this a little bit later. Let me focus. Emo Grimlow. Okay, focus up. Stop distracting me, chat. What was I saying? What was I talking about before the DNC tried to take me down? Crypto Miner EXE. Yeah, close that one. Here, let me close all these extra tabs and stuff as well. Yeah. They told you how much money they were making. Oh yeah. They were literally like, I had people bragging to me about how much money they were making. Like out in the cartoons, they have like money, like dollar signs in their eye. Like that's how like these people were like looking to me. Like I would look at them and they'd be like, I got offered $10,000 to do a speaking engagement at this university or whatever. And that became their entire personality. Right? They would like, I'm just gonna leave you off the screen. So just so that it doesn't feel very targeted. But like they would like only start flying first class, you know, only taking Uber Blacks everywhere, to the point where like if you heard about what happened to Isaiah Martin's campaign, about like they had like thousands upon thousands of dollars of like Uber Blacks and first class flights across the country. Y'all remember that? Yeah, I had to say it as well. Right? Isaiah Martin, who that there's personal history there, I won't get into, but whose campaign manager was like Olivia Juliana, which we all know. This is when his campaign happened, right? Isaiah Martin, the candidate for Texas 18th Congressional District, is being sued by a DC-based analytics company that alleges he campaign did not pay it for its services. The details are actually astonishing or astounding. Same difference. Despite owning the firm more than $225,000, Martin spent exorbitantly on United Airlines $12.6K, Uber $12.5K, Marriott $8.5K, Hilton $4.4K, and Southwest $1.5K after dropping out on December 13, 2023, according to FEC filings. Some disbursements counts since the day he dropped out in 2013 or 2023. Uber 378, airlines 60, right? Hotels 31. That's wild. How does one manage to spend that much? There was a span of in August 2024 where he took 33 rides over 3 days. How do you spend 12K on Ubers? Well, when you're, when allegedly your campaign manager only takes Uber freaking Blacks and you take 33 rides in only Uber Blacks over 3 days, it starts to add up. Right? But that's how these people viewed money. They didn't view money as like a, product of their labor and something that like, most of the country does not have direct access to for posting TikTok videos. They viewed money as like okay, I didn't have money yesterday. I have a bunch of money now. Let's see how much I can spend. So when you're like, why were they selling out for $8,000 a month? Because once you start getting into a habit of only taking first class flights, once you start getting into a habit of taking only Uber Blacks, right? It starts to add up. And to maintain that lifestyle, yeah, you're going to cut whatever check comes your way. Why not just buy a car? These people can't drive. Sorry. Some of them can't drive. They don't have licenses, chat. People got famous at the age of 17 years old. We're talking about children, essentially. We're talking about children who fell into a bunch of money because they post ha videos on TikTok. No moral foundation, no moral backbone. We're talking about children. And I'm not even getting into the insane stories. Like, for example, at one of the first events that I went to before they stopped inviting me places, because obviously, there was an open bar at this event. I won't name the event and I won't name the person. It was an open bar at the event. Open bar. Free alcohol, essentially. Tell me why this youth activist, right, executive director of this organization, sneaks behind the bar and steals a bottle of wine and puts it in his bag. Why would you do that? What? It's an open bar. It's free alcohol. What are we doing here? This is an event that is like invited a bunch of youth people in this space, and you're just acting a fool. You know what I mean? Acting a fool. Gonna get us all kicked out for why? For what? That's what you do at a GD college bar. Yeah, this is a actual political event. This is an actual political event where we have there are politicians in attendance, right? There are dozens of nonprofit executive directors, dozens of heads of consulting firms, just like it's like the shoulder rubbing event. And and I'm like one of the youngest people there because there's a bunch of youth people that are invited because like they finally are like, okay, let's bring the youth into these discussions. And you are stealing wine from this event. This is all Gen Z for Change. No, this is nothing. None of the people I'm talking about are Gen Z for Change affiliated. I won't like start airing out dirty business of my coworkers. They're chill. They're fine. They're fine. Right? Imagine getting caught by Obama or something. Obama wasn't there. I will say that. But it's a party of them. No networking, just partying. Turn to your stream. What is your job when you were at these events? I worked at a political nonprofit. It's how I was also in these spaces. Right? But I was never a liberal. But we were in like liberal adjacent spaces. Strongest soldier, let me tell you, it was rough. Point being is that it is an in-group. It is an in-club. All of these people know each other. All these people talk to each other. They're on first name basis with each other. All right. And so if you look at this list of people that are listed as getting paid by the DNC or getting paid by these affiliated organizations, right? It is an open secret, which is why I've talked about it openly in the past, mostly because I don't really have anything to hide. You know what I mean? You know the crazy part about that, specifically from like the influencer side of it, they were offering influencers like thousands of dollars in order to post only good things about the IRA. And if you were like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit critical in my video, and they'd be like, oh, you're critical, you don't get the money. And so if you see influencers that are like, that's why I always say, if you see influencers that are unable to be critical of Biden to any degree, there is a good chance that through some maybe proxies or organizations, they're getting paid to say the things that they are getting paid or they're saying. Yeah. IRA, Inflation Reduction Act. It was Build Back Brandon before Build Back Brandon was Build Back Brandon. You know? Or it's what it turned into. Build Back Brandon was like the $1 trillion spending package. That got neutered down into the Inflation Reduction Act to be like 1.9 trillion in totality. They killed like half the spending. It is the less cool IRA, yeah. But yeah, this is an open secret that these people are getting paid through like proxy organizations. And again, if they were actually like, you know, legitimately progressive entities, I honestly wouldn't care that much. You know? If there were actual legitimate progressive entities that could speak about like Palestine or progressive causes or climate and stuff, and didn't just have to dick ride the administration, the Brandon administration, right? Or the Harris administration, whatever, then I'd be like, sure. But that's not it's not what it is. Right? The reason why they are invited to these things, the reason why they get this funding is because they don't speak about these things. And that's kind of what I want to talk about as well. So this is the article written by Taylor Lorenz. A dark money group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. Initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 per month to push the party line. All they have to do is keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content. Right? This is not something that I've covered on my stream outside of like, talking about it very generally. I didn't read this on my stream. But I know other creators have. I don't know if Hassan talked about it yesterday. If he did, if he has a video on it, I would appreciate it so I don't have to freaking read it myself. Because I'm freaking dying. No, he doesn't have a video on it. Sad face. Got a bottom like that too, W. It's keeping it secret part is interesting, considering how they had been bragging to you about their bags. Yes, but the difference is that this specific organization had a stipulation about it being secret, right? What I'm talking about is just in general how all of these organizations work, right? And so not every organization had a stipulation about being secret, and that is demonstrated by the fact that there are creators who've spoken about this before, which I've also covered, right? Here, do y'all remember this? Democrats turn to influencers to help share their messages. But before this, I want to see let's see if Hassan has a video on hostile elections. This is a freaking hour long. You won't watch the entire thing.
Deep dive into a dark money.
This starter tried to out the scheme back in an election, got smeared as a racist with someone on the list. Yeah, I know Madeline Pennington, which we'll take a look at it as well.
Group that is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers, and I obviously have a lot of additional information to offer as someone who is a progressive content creator, a socialist influencer, if you want to call it that, who has been approached in the past as well. So I can give you guys a little bit more details on this kind of thing too, on top of what she wrote. And there's obviously a bunch of stuff that she was not able to add in to this piece because, it would have been far too expansive. But here it is. A dark money group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. A recipient of that money? No, of course not. An initiative aimed at boosting Democrats' online offers influence.
And the funniest part is that I don't think they wouldn't have offered Hassan money. I think that there's a good because let me tell you why. Right, the people that were invited to be a creator for Kamala are the people on the nice list. I think it's broken down as into 3 categories. Right? Creators for Kamala was likely them weeding out and finding creators that they could recruit. You're not incorrect, but you're a little bit slightly behind the curve. Creators for Kamala is in the middle of recruitment. Right? There's 3 camps. There are the people that they will never talk to. That's the people like me. People like Mike. Right? People like Brett. Like the communists on online, essentially. Like the left people that they don't want to touch at all. We don't have high enough audiences for them to even entertain talking to us because they already know we're not going to play ball. You have the people on the other side of it, which are people that they are going to give money to because they don't need money to change their morals. Their morals already suck. That's your people like Harry Sisson, Olivia Juliana, Chris Mowry, right? Dean to a certain extent. People like that already make the type of content that they want, that they can just pay them to make more of that content. So they're already fast-tracked into the program, if you will. Not this program specifically, but programs such as this, right? The goodwill of the DNC programs. And then you have people in the middle. And that's what Creators for Kamala does. Hassan was put in the middle. And then he was demoted down to being like the rest of us once you got kicked out of the DNC, right? But they were hoping that like, hey, maybe we can actually convince Hassan to sell his soul out for the Democratic Party. You know, hey, let's invite him to the DNC. Let's bring him in. Let's give him a little space where he can stream at. Let's give him his own little own little entourage. Let's give him all the special like badges and passes and stuff. Like, let's give him whatever he wants to. Let's try to bribe him. Where Caroline fit, also in the middle. Same as Hassan, because Caroline has like DNC connections, right? So like, same as Hassan, but to like a lesser extent. Like, they want Hassan if they can bribe Hassan. They found out that Hassan is unbribable, and so they took away all of his nice things and then kicked him out. You know what I mean? Like, so those are the three camps. You have people like, let's see. I don't know if it's easier for me to draw this in paint. One, two, three. Right? This is like left. We'll say this is liberal here. Right? I'm here. This is me. Hassan's here. And then like, I don't know, Harry Sisson is here. Hassan, they put Hassan here in this like malleable, maybe we can use, right? Maybe this is useful, until they were like, okay, he's not playing ball on Palestine. You know, let's throw him back to the far left branch. You know? And that's what him getting kicked out of the DNC does. There are also people in here like Philip DeFranco. Right? Philly D. There are people in here like JJ. Where there are people in here that they find useful that sometimes they'll try to bring in and convert them into like a staunch like DNC party show. You see from like Harry or like Olivia. Right? And some of those people never moved. Is JJ the guy from the podcast with Hassan? Yes. Right? So Creators for Kamala was a trial run of trying to get people into the party infrastructure of the DNC. That's what they are trying to do. Right? They didn't get Hassan. They might have got other people. I don't know the intricacies of who they have on their list. But that's the reason why they brought people to the DNC in the first place. Right? Because keep in mind, the goal of the Democratic Party is not to win. I want you to take that. If that is in your mind, I want you to throw it away. I feel like Pearl Mania took the bag. I can't tell you who did or did not or how far they go. I've been cut out effectively entirely. You know, rightfully so to a certain extent. But you can make your own distinctions or delineations. Right? But point being, the goal is to farm donors. Yes. The point is, I don't want to say to be controlled opposition, but the point is not to be effective. I hope I was streaming and see a diagram. You're steadfastly my favorite creator. Thank you, Chatter. I do appreciate that. Right? The point is not to be effective. They don't care about actually winning elections. They don't.
Gifted a tier 1 sub to Adelan.
Get elected, do nothing. Essentially, their goal is to literally make money. That's it. They don't actually want to change people's lives. They don't even really want to win elections. Right? But it's just like, how many elections can we lose but still effectively be a party? That's the Democrats. You know? And so if you understand the Democrats' overall perspective, You can filter everything that they do through that lens. So this that we see here, you know, I know, Hassan knows, Taylor Lorenz knows, we all know this is not effective. Them throwing money at Olivia Juliana, them throwing money at David Pakman, at them throwing money at Too Raw, Too Real, we all can understand that will not win them elections. We know that. And they know that too. But their goal is not to actually win elections. Their goal is to reward people who are steadfastly with the party. That is it. The same reason why people were like, oh, Joe Biden needs to run again. Or he needed to run the first time. Oh, he dedicated 50 years of service to this party. We must reward that with something. That's it. It is about creating loyal soldiers. It's about quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Seniority above all. That's why the Democrats keep dying in freaking office. Right? Because so long as you do your tenure, the Democratic Party will reward you, right, at the tail end of your life. Consultant jobs program, yeah. It is literally a jobs program for losers. And that also exists in the influencer base, right? If you are a TikToker and you pimped yourself out to being a Biden dead ender, which Olivia did. Olivia used to be progressive. But from February to July, right, up until the moment he dropped out, she was saying, Joe Biden is our guy. Stop saying that he should drop out. He's our guy. And she's rewarded for that with this. This is purely the quid pro quo. This is not just something the Democrats just decided to do, right? This is not something the Democrats decided to focus on. This is purely crafted as a way to reward the loyal soldiers for the Democratic Party. Yes, we may have lost, but thank you for your work. That's it. It's a consolation prize. That's all it is. That's all it is. So when people when Taylor Lorenz, right? When Taylor Lorenz is saying, hey, they control what you can and cannot talk about. And people are like, no, according to the contract language, they don't have any say over what videos that I decide to post or not to post, right? The doublespeak there is, yeah, because you're only in the program because you decide not to talk about things, right? If you did post content that they didn't like, you would be kicked out of the program. And you understand that, which is why you don't do that. So yes, they are effectively controlling what you have to say. Right? If the option is either you say what we want you to say or you make no money, that's control. Yeah, here's a picture with of her with Joe Biden. This is also consolation prize. Keep in mind when this was posted, January 2nd, 2025. This is consolation prize. Joe Biden is a loser. Kamala Harris is a loser. They lost the election to a buffoon. A buffoon, I tell you. And you know what they did? They rewarded David Pakman, Too Raw, Too Stupid, Olivia Juliana, Harry Sisson, Chris Mowry. They rewarded all of them with a trip to the White House to say, thank you for your loyal service. Await further instructions. You know what they did? They awaited further instructions. And then they were further rewarded for it by this. You know what I mean? They don't have motion, chat. And there's no way to describe this to you if you don't see it. They don't have motion. They used to have motion. They don't have motion anymore. I have more motion than Olivia does. And that didn't used to be the case. Right? That did not used to be the case. Right? On Twitter, I sneeze and get these numbers now. Olivia doesn't get my numbers. I have more motion than she does. Hassan has more motion than these people do, obviously. Right? So does Gremlo. So does Denims. You know? So does Brett. We pull more numbers than they do. So does the insert pro-Palestinian content creator on TikTok. Literally any one of them. Christian Divine. Right? Just start naming people. It's going to be if I'm hearing wrong, you're saying that you're more far left than Hassan. I'm saying that Hassan is more far left than these people. Right? That all the people who are more far left than these people are more successful and popular than these people are. But also, yes, I am farther left than Hassan. But that's not the point. I'm not trying to make it like a leftier than thou argument. Right? The point being is that if they actually wanted to be effective, they should be crawling and begging us for attention. The DNC should be approaching us, should be asking us, right? Should be doing everything that is possibly in their power to grab us. Because we have authentic, real numbers and they do not. But the reason why they don't do that is because, one, they don't want to win, and two, they have to reward party loyalty above all else. You rather create a Joe Rogan on the left and find one? Yeah, because if they create the Joe Rogan on the left, they can control the Joe Rogan on the left. Right? There's a reason why you had Olivia Juliana, Harry Sisson, Aaron Parnes, and one other loser all doing a stream with Gavin Newsom or whatever, you know? Like 2 weeks ago. And they get no motion. They literally have no motion. That's the craziest part. They have zero motion.
I'm fired up.
This clip from a week ago got 198 likes. There must be more. It's called The Siren.
McGowan is here. I'm Joe Carducci.
These are the same people, by the way. Right? And if for the watchers of me, I don't like any of these people. But to be fair, 2 of them follow me still. Right? She followed me and she follows me. She hates me though, which I mean, yeah. But no, I was looking for the where's the siren one at? With Gavin Newsom. With Harry Sisson. Am I tripping? They did a whole podcast, but they didn't release it anywhere? I genuinely, it should not be this hard for me to find this stupid podcast, bro. I have no idea where it is. Oh, it's on Substack. Oh, I found it. I'm a genius. Bro, what is this stupid player? It's so bad.
You inspire me every day. I am so proud to have you on this podcast. And the thing I told you guys off camera is that I would really love to facilitate a conversation where we actually talk to each other.
Oh, this is
You
the one
guys-
without Gavin Newsom.
I agree so much. I know I have people in my comments who have started giving Gavin Newsom
Wasn't the guy on the
nickname
bottom left on
Gavin
Assange stream
Newsom.
recently?
Sorry.
No, you're thinking of a different white guy with curly hair. I think actually maybe you're talking about Dean, but I don't think Harry was on Hassan's stream. Oh, you may be thinking about Cameron Katsky, who's actually cool. By the way, like Cameron's fine. Anyway, the point being, right? Did Hassan ever talk to Dean? On Dean's live stream. Apparently, I saw this in chat. I don't know if it's real. Apparently, there was supposed to be something about like Hassan and Dean debating Charlie Kirk. Did y'all hear about that? Did somebody in chat just make that up? I saw what like as this chat was scrolling by when I was watching Hassan. They were like, "Hey Hassan, have you talked to Dean about you and his debate with Charlie Kirk this Saturday?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" I thought Hassan said he doesn't do debates anymore. Hassan is debating Kirk. I don't know if anyone else is involved. I thought it was just Charlie Kirk and Hassan. Didn't hear about Dean. That's what the chatter said. The chatter said Hassan and Dean debate Charlie Kirk. I'm not even joking. That is what a chatter said in the chat, which is why I was confused. You know what I mean? I think he said he was going to give Dean pointers. They're going to Sam Cedar him. That could be a chatter's dream, maybe. Hassan did mention debating Kirk and talking to Dean before it happens. I remember the I've Had It ladies had Dean on after Hassan. I think there was something on that episode about Charlie Kirk not wanting to debate Dean. I mean, that's what Dean always says. Why talk to Dean? I don't know, bro. I'm not Hassan. You got to ask Hassan. And don't ask Hassan. I don't really care. You know what I mean? Hassan knows how I feel about Dean. And he doesn't make decisions based upon how I feel, nor should he. So I don't necessarily care. You know what I mean? That's my perspective on it. If you want to know my position. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, I have my beef with Dean because like Dean is not meaningfully different than Harry when it comes to like getting paid by these like liberal like PACs, right? And neutering his language so that he keeps getting paid by PACs up until very recently. Because if you notice, you can go and look and search. Dean did not talk about Palestine until, you know, January 21st, 2025, or whenever Trump was inaugurated. And even then, it took a few months. And one must ask yourself, why? You know? And sometimes now I'll see like a Dean clip pop up on my feed being like, talking about like Dean owns this Zionist or whatever. Again, and one must ask why it took so long for that to be the case in the first place. I just putting it out there. And I got more hope for Dean than I did Aiden. Well, see, Chatter, that's the funny thing. I didn't ask you about your thoughts about Dean. Who's Dean and why don't you like him? If you don't know who Dean is, then I'm not going to explain to you who he is and why I don't like him. Is it true that Dean was once MAGA? That is true. Or at least he was like a right winger, which, I mean, he's a freaking kid. So, like, who cares, like, to a certain extent. He's white. That's why Sean doesn't like him. Okay, let's not say that. You're going to get me canceled for something I didn't even say. Chill out. Relax. Relax. I didn't say that. Run the fade with Dean? No. This is what somebody said as well. They're like, oh, debate Dean. I'm like, no, I don't necessarily care to debate Dean. I don't hate Dean. Right? Regardless of what I say and how much I joke, I don't like have any like strong feelings against Dean specifically. You know? I have a problem with like people of Dean's archetype. Right? And Dean is not meaningfully different than somebody like Aaron Parnas or Harry Sisson or Olivia Juliana. He could be different, but he has not demonstrated that he is meaningfully different than these people. Right? He's not demonstrated that he's meaningfully different than somebody who is a liberal, who will, you know, sell out the communities that they claim to care about as a way to make money. You know? But again, only time will tell. If Hassan wants to try to save Dean from the debate bro madness, genuinely good luck to him. I do wish him well there. I would not be doing that. We got a little motion. They have no motion. Exactly. See everything of the raid. Hello. We're talking about liberals. And I'm mostly just ranting at this point. Look, he is worse. I'll say it. I feel like worse than what? Wild is part of the paid dev influencer stories. How little motion do they have? Exactly. The boys are liars. The boys are liars. What is happening? You're not looking at me, boy. Humans were thinking for the raid, and then Matt Binder thinking for the raid as well. Hello, welcome in. We're talking about freaking liberals, bro. I also have COVID. It's a COVID party. Woo! That's his Mafia raid. Welcome to the COVID party. By COVID party, it means that I have COVID. And I hope you don't get COVID from me. Because I'm sick. Binder. Excuse me. Blame that on my sickness. Not on me. Anyway, I'm doing my tell-all about these liberals and how much I don't like them and they suck. It's okay, I put a mask on my Twitch account. W. I'm gonna lie, it'd be hard to get COVID through Twitch. You never know. Take care of yourself. This is me taking care of myself. Binder's full of women who remembers. I don't. Anyway, point being is that these liberals are paid for a reason. That is it. With zero emotion. This activist, who's one of the people getting paid, 164 views in 4 hours. I'm telling you, they have no motion. They have no motion. They don't. But there are people on the left that do have motion that they're not reaching out to, right? Because the Democratic Party only rewards loyalty. They don't care about effectiveness. They don't care about effective strategy. They don't care about winning elections. They only care about rewarding loyalty. They only care about seniority. And that's literally it. That's it. Which is why it's so funny when the defense from like Brian Tyler Cohen is, oh no, listen, you don't understand. We're training them to be better influencers with nothing to show for it. Making $8,000 a freaking month, bro. You know? Jeez Louise. But here, let's continue with this because I'm dying. Not this. Where's it at? This.
So up to $8,000 a month to push the party line. All they have to do is keep it a secret and agree to restrictions on their content. In a private group chat in June, dozens of Democratic political influencers discussed whether to take advantage of an enticing opportunity. They were being offered $8,000 per month to take part in a secretive program aimed at bolstering Democratic messaging on the internet. Wait, what? $8,000 a month honestly seems like a small payout if they actually supposed to be high-profile influencers. The economy really is falling apart. Are you kidding me? $8,000 a month is an incredible amount of money for whatever their deliverables are. What the do you have $8,000 a month that you have to spare? Like, we're talking about like up and comers. You know what I mean? We're talking about people that just like get you know, like $8,000 a month is life-changing money for.
Did Brian Tyler Cohen actually respond to the article? Yes. Yes, he did. Which I had somewhere. I don't know where I put it. Oh, I spelled his name wrong. I found it. Oh, of course he has Roland freaking Martin in his corner. I'm sorry. You know what? I don't respond to this as well. I have all the smoke. I have all of the smoke. I'm here laying people out. Taylor updated the article to include Core's comments. People often sell it for so little, it's sad. I know. But here, we're gonna get the baseline of what the article is about. Because again, I literally cannot read it because I will die. You know what? I'm just gonna assume that you've read the article already, right? Yada yada. Influencers getting paid money. Yada yada. Secret under the table cash. Yada yada. They're hiding it. X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? I'm gonna assume that you've seen it on Caroline's stream or Hassan's stream or wherever. So I probably have the video on it. That's what we're gonna watch. It's an hour long, so we're not doing that. One step away from your goal. That's not not the correct goal, chat. See, that's my scam. I don't take DNC money, but I do have a fake sub goal set up. So, yeah. One day I will get canceled for that, but that day, not today. Such you, thank you for the gifted sub.
Sub to
It's a good scam, thank you.
Luigi__91.
I'm waiting for Mogul Mail about it to catch up. Anyway, let's see what Brian Tyler Cohen has to say in response to this article. Right? And if you haven't read it, go out and read it yourself, and then come back to me, and then we'll keep it pushing. Addo Curie, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Much appreciated. Sorry, my enthusiasm dropped immediately when I was reading that because I got distracted. But yeah, thank you. Let's just watch this, okay?
Internet troll.
This is one of the this is somebody who was named as a co-founder of Chorus inside of the article.
More attention, I want to address a piece that Taylor Lorenz wrote yesterday for Wired. An initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 a month to push the party line. All they have to do is keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content. Literally nothing in this statement is true. The article is about Chorus, which is a nonprofit that I helped found to build up our creator ecosystem, which everybody says they want, but few are doing. So here's what Chorus is. It is a scholarship program to teach creators how to grow their accounts, foster engagement, launch their own shows, and become profitable on their own. It's an incubator program to build the pro-democracy ecosystem. Influencers and creators.
Pro-democracy ecosystem is a loaded term if I've ever heard it. It's liberals. It's liberal, right? Now, to be fair, wait, no, it's a 501c4. They could call themselves liberal, right? They're not nonpartisan. They could call themselves a liberal content creation, cultivation organization if they so chose to. But I guess we're going with pro-democracy because it sounds better.
Have never been more important when it comes to how Americans are consuming their news. The right has been doing this for years, and the left needs to catch up. That's why we're doing this with Chorus. So,
which, if what he was saying is true, that would be fine to a certain extent. Like, if they were actually promoting left-wing voices, I'd be like, sure, could be better, whatever. You know? But it's not. There's a reason why all the creators you see on their little advertising link that they're putting out, now that people are talking about them, are effectively pro-genocide, or at least genocide neutral. You know, I don't know who this person is or this person is, but chat, if you've watched me before, there's a good chance you may recognize this person's face. Who's that? Who's that? Let's take a little look-sees at an old video I made 2 years ago, right? Titled "The Ugly Reality of the Democratic Party." It's the same. May 16th, 2023. Wow, she looks pretty familiar. Is that the same person? By not saying pro-democracy creator, you see say.
Our current president is successful and he can win. We need to pick our battles right. We just
Loving liberals when people want to exercise their right to vote in a primary. So what this is about is people saying that there's no need for a Democratic primary. Yo, I talked about this when I had 1,000 followers. I talked about this when I had 1,000 followers. Hydrated Boy, thank you for the raid. Was she in the Silence podcast too, or am I tripping? No, you're correct. She was in the Silence podcast. And one of the ones that we saw. No need for a primary. All a primary is going to do is turn people against Biden. Because guess what? Biden sucks. It's always vote blue no matter who until a progressive is on the ballot. Right? That's what I said. We're going to watch this video. And trigger warning for liberal brain rot, because that's what this is. The Democratic Party doesn't need democracy is her message. 100%. We're going to watch this. Whatever happened to Troy, chat? Who remembers Troy here? Probably none of you, because none of you have been following me for long enough. Honestly, statistically speaking, none of you remember Troy, actually. Because y'all weren't here for it. I had 1,000 viewers. Or 1,000 followers. I had 100 viewers. Oi from Hydrated Chat. Hello, welcome in. Hope you had a good stream. Trigger warning, liberal brain rot.
listen, Democrats, can we please stop talking about primarying Joe Biden? Who should run against Joe Biden? Will Democrats get behind Joe Biden? This many Democrats want an alternative to Joe Biden. Can we just not? The absolute last thing democracy needs right now is a Democratic primary. We're in late stage.
She said the absolute last thing the Democrats need right now is a Democratic primary. That is a real thing that this person who's now being promoted as a pro-democracy creator is saying. By the way, and look what happened in a retrospective world. Look what happened a year and a half later. Joe Biden performed so poorly at the debate that he had to drop out. Right? That he had to drop out and push his VP in the spot for him. So is there another thing on the Bing Shot in Black vindicated retrospective? Maybe. But this is the person the Democrats are promoting over any leftist. This is the person the Democrats are promoting over any leftist. Like, now I'm hungry. I keep that Taco Bell on me.
Capitalism with a corrupt Supreme Court on a knife's edge between autocracy and democracy, and people want to spend $100 million to undermine our successful incumbent when the alternative is the twice impeached criminal ex-president or the man who is single-handedly turning Florida into a fascist dictatorship? Why?
Gianna
I know
Olivia
people are
or
excited-
is being paid by the Dems is the funny to me. Yeah.
For fresh young leaders with bright new ideas, but those fresh young leaders will never get a chance if we don't protect democracy now. The fact is, Joe Biden has gotten more accomplished in 2 years than any president in the history of presidents. In an increasingly cynical world, Joe Biden is a decent man with an incredible staff who knows what he's doing and has thoughtful plans for the future of this country that include women's rights and gay rights and workers' rights and voters' rights and higher minimum wage and lower healthcare costs and environmental protections. It could be argued that the biggest reason democracy is winning in this David and Goliath story in Ukraine is because Joe Biden had the foreign policy experience and humility to gather world leaders together and build a coalition to support them. He can run on all of that. We don't need to replace him. We need to spend our time and money giving him a bigger majority in Congress so he can get even more accomplished. Yeah, he's old. He talks old. He's a goofy grandpa who says things like malarkey. Who cares? By every measurable metric, he's an excellent leader. If we didn't have lying propaganda networks and self-serving chaos agents constantly trying to sell us on the idea that he's some demented evil pedophile out to ruin the country, and you just looked at the facts of his presidency on paper, there would be zero debate he was doing a bang-up job. You don't spend $100 million undermining your own party to defeat someone who's doing a bang-up job. You run your successful sitting president, and you spend the resources you would have spent on a primary building the infrastructure that will defeat your opposition. You know, the party who wants to take your vote and force you to have a baby and tell you what you can read and what you can teach and what you can know. The people passing laws to tell people how to dress and how to act and what they can do with their own bodies. The party calling for a national divorce and suggesting that maybe Democrats shouldn't get to vote at all. The party that wants to get rid of everything from Social Security to public schools, who have already passed laws to strip women of their rights and make trans people detransition and force private companies to toe their policy line. You don't give those people the gift of fighting amongst yourselves. You spend your time and money working to put down that fascist, authoritarian, white Christian nationalist uprising taking over half the country. Joe Biden is better than any alternative the Republicans could pick. So if you want to win, how you feel about him?
I'm sorry, I was trying to hold it in until it was done. But the chatter said she's spitting right now. I can't believe none of this worked. It made me laugh. I did not. Okay, that was you. Okay, I agree. Man, I can't believe that didn't resonate with people. I like just insert SpongeBob title card transition here 1 year later, and Joe Biden's dropping out of the election, and everything's like in the worst state it can be. The party's fractured. There's a genocide going on, co-signed by the party. Like, She was objectively wrong about literally everything. Like, literally wrong about every single thing. And then, like, this stupid loser, not me, this guy, is like, we should give her $8,000 a month, actually. Yes, you were wrong about literally everything. $8,000 a month for you. Here you go. Thank you for your party loyalty. Why are we giving Biden dead enders any money relating to political advocacy? Please, can somebody explain that to me? Do you know who also want Biden to stay in? The Republicans. Why are we giving pseudo-Republicans left-wing dollars who was cheering on campaigning with Liz Cheney, who was telling Joe Biden to stay in? You know why? Because there are no real left-wing dollars. I know, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I know, what if they do actually understand political strategy after all? Maybe we should try. You're right. So did Bernie, AOC, to be fair. Yeah, and they were wrong and dumb. And they also should not get any money. You know? Bernie's like a, there, old man. Let's get you back to bed. And AOC is relegated to the back lines for a little bit. And then we actually fund people who are, you know, transformative and actually resonate with people and their policies. If we're being entirely real, like, sorry, AOC is not resonating with people in the way that she used to. Like, she has charisma, right? She has like she has that fire, but like, she's not resonating with people the way that Zoran is resonating with people. You know, Zoran's policies is getting people out of the door, right? And campaigning for him. AOC is getting them to show up for rallies. You know? Again, I'm not saying that she's completely useless. I'm not saying that she doesn't have anything useful to add to like the wider movement. If she wants to be a part of the same movement, she has to kind of prove that now. But like, she's not she had a lot of motion because she was like the rookie. She's no longer the rookie. She's like a junior now, you know? Or more like a sophomore. Zoran Mamdani's the rookie. And Zoran Mamdani has more motion than she has. Right? She can't play the coy rookie politician anymore who wants to shake things up, because she's not that. You know? The difference in Wikipedia page spiked for Zoran and AOC is wild. I mean, it's probably exactly indicative of what I'm talking about. You know? And it is. It is. Those rallies have Bernie's name all over them, not AOC. No, I think AOC does have the benefit of bringing people in. She does have name recognition, not Bernie name recognition, but like, after Bernie, AOC is the most recognizable, like, progressive politician. That's not to be debated. You know, that is just the case. For how long that's going to last, I don't know, but there is still motion there. For now. You know?
Let's talk about what Chorus is and what it's not. Chorus does not pay creators for content, does not tell them what to say, does not control who they talk to or work with, and there is absolutely nothing in the contract.
Also, I love this part of the video is literally him just not addressing what Taylor said. Taylor never claimed that Chorus is like activating creators for specific videos on specific issues. Taylor never claimed that Chorus is a management company controlling what the creators do or do not do, right? Taylor said that there is a dark money web of like influence in like the liberal TikToker or content creator sphere, right? That is paying creators, right? And that is essentially controlling what they say, because you are doing that. That one is true. He's just lying here. Chorus is controlling what they say, not overtly, right? But they say you cannot speak about Chorus. You cannot say you're a part of Chorus. You cannot engage with people talking about Chorus in the press or the media. So that's a lie. He's lying about that. Right? Number one. Number two, they do control what issues you talk about, because if you talk about issues they don't want you to talk about, they just won't pay you, you know? That is the case. There's a reason why nobody involved has talked about Israel-Palestine, because they have an understanding that if they talk about Israel-Palestine, they won't get paid. They're not being brought on to talk about Israel-Palestine. That's just the case. They can pretend like that's not the case, but that is the case. You know? Or anyone trust what this guy has to say anyway? Doesn't he look very trustworthy? Come on, you gotta believe him.
That could even be reasonably interpreted to say that we do. Period. Full stop. I don't know a single creator who would willfully sign up for a program that would tell them what they can or can't say. That's not.
I mean, if you pay them, you know, why would creators sign up for a program like this? You're paying them money, like dollars that they can use to buy stuff with. That's why they would do it. Yeah, people sign contracts. People sign bad contracts all the time. It's like a record label being like, "What? You're claiming that we have a 360 deal where we own the masters of every artist that is under our label? Why would anybody sign that?" I don't know, because you have exploited them. Like, they're going to creators in a space that nobody is paying for, right? Or very little people are paying for these creators' videos. If you are a political TikToker that has less than 5 or 50,000 followers, you're getting paid $0. And I know this because I was a political TikToker during the height of political TikTok, right? And I had 80,000 followers and I got $0, right? And so if somebody offered me even $250 a month, that's more than zero. That's more than I was making as a hobby, right? I would think about taking it. The height of political TikTok is right now. That's not true. The height of political TikTok was in 2020. You are incorrect. 2020 was the height of political TikTok. Here is the second phase. The page why his premise is so stupid. We're supposed to believe that they're getting paid for essentially nothing. Apparently, the org just likes the creators and decides to pay them, I guess. Yeah. And all the creators just happen to be pro-Israel. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of weird. They just happen to all be pro-Israel. As I came to watch you because I'm not racist. W. What are you covering today? Well, take a seat and find out.
Not what this program is. We pay people to show up to workshops and technical trainings to optimize their content online. For example, we've got trainings on how to package content for YouTube, trainings on how to optimize audience.
Now, if this was the case, why is there no pro-Palestinian creators in this mix? That's kind of weird, right? Not a single pro-Palestinian creator made it into the mix? It is really not about controlling what people say and just giving left-wing creators the tools to be more effective, and they're all pro-Israel. It's almost like you're using the money that you have and the capital that you have to incentivize certain types of content from creators, both in and outside of your network, by only funding the type of content that you ideologically align with, even if it's left-wing content. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's something to think about. I think it's something to think about.
Retention for Instagram and TikTok, trainings on how to form an LLC. Again, there are zero restrictions on their content. And by the way,
It's a lie, right? There are zero official restrictions on their content, right? But if they look to their left and look to their right and then realize that it's surrounded by Zionists, they kind of understand implicitly. They think you're stupid, chat. They think you're stupid. This guy thinks you are a moron. They think because there's no like contract clause saying no Palestine, that he's not incentivizing certain content to be created over other content. He's right, but still, yeah. Because he is. Only funding progressive content of all kinds, except for pro-Palestine content, is controlled speech. That is a form of censorship, no matter what he says. No matter what he says. It is a form of censorship. Because all the people who are getting the money are all the pro-Israel people. Right? There's no functional difference in saying, hey, you can't make pro-Palestinian content, as opposed to saying, hey, if you make pro-Palestinian content, you can do that, but if you make pro-Israel content, we'll pay you. There's no functional difference between the two. And he thinks that we're stupid, and he's trying to act like there is a difference. But there's not.
The program works. In just 2 months, our cohort has added a combined 6 million followers, that's not including me, and seen their views and engagement grow.
List them. Release the list. Genuinely. If he wants transparency, release the list of creators. Release the list of creators.
That is the point of the program, to teach creators how to be effective with whatever messages they want to promote. And with regard to...
Unless it's pro-Palestinian messages, release the creators.
Keeping it a secret, there is a standard confidentiality clause in the contract to protect the privacy of the creators.
That's not confidentiality. That is not he's lying. That's not that he's straight up lying here. That is not a standard confidentiality clause that states that you cannot disclose who is paying you. Like, come on. Confidentiality is never in a contract for the creators. Yeah. No, he's saying it's for the other creators somehow.
On the literal first day of the program, it was made clear to all of...
Nope. Suck my dick, bro. No. You can't say, listen, it was a wee standard, just a tiny little bit of a confidentiality clause. But like, we made it super clear that it wasn't like super like in like, you know, legal terms, that they could, if they wanted to, talk about these things. If they saw, we let them know that very clearly, that they were able to do these things even after they signed the confidentiality clause. You can't do that. You can't force creators to like sign an NDA and then be like, but you can break it at any time. No, they can't. That's what the clause is there for. They legally cannot break it at any time. You can't say, listen, we made them sign a confidentiality clause. We made it very clear that like we wouldn't enforce it.
Whatever messages they want to promote. And with regard to keeping it a secret, there is a standard confidentiality clause in the contract to protect the privacy of the creators.
Release the contract. release the list of creators, and release the contract.
On the literal first day of the program, it was made clear to all of the creators in our kickoff session that they were absolutely free to talk about Chorus. And we immediately...
Nope. Don't believe you. I'm sorry. I don't believe you. Until I see the intricacies of what was in that confidentiality clause, which, by the way, Taylor saw. Taylor saw the contract and came to the conclusion that you cannot talk about Chorus while being beholden to the contract. So if you're going to refute that, you need to provide the contract. You can't say, oh, we just had a standard confidentiality clause. Don't even worry about that. But we told them that they could break it if they wanted to. Release the contract. By this point, wouldn't the list of creators potentially lead to mass harassment? 1, I don't care. 2, I don't care. 3, I still don't care. You're being exposed for having a... That's like saying... Okay, it's not like... I was about to make an analogy. That would not have been a good analogy, but it's similar. Just think about it. But like, you're being exposed for having a dark money web of a shadowy creator organization to spend money on like, you know, producing like liberal content that is also pseudo pro genocide. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? This is what transparency is about. You can't be like, oh, don't worry, we're not doing transparency because it's scary for our creators. Like, no, if you're paying people, right, for content, which is effectively what they're doing, just they found a loophole to do it, right? I think people should be aware that their content is being paid for and who's paying for it. You know? In my honest and personal opinion.
Followed up to confirm that in writing. Creators have videos about Chorus. They've got donation links to Chorus in their bios. I myself have made videos that were posted all over the internet about Chorus that reached...
Dog, you're the founder. You need to release something. Dog, you're editing this video. You have a nice little Shure SM7B. You need to put something on the screen. You are the founder. The anti-Semitic to point out that all these dudes are Jewish with ties to Israel, right? Yes. Because they're not. These organizations are not like Jewish-run organizations. Right? This is one in a long list of organizations that are run by freaking insane liberals and conservatives on the conservative side who wants to, like, you know, stamp out any progress or whatever. He's specifically not saying 1630 group in this section, which is the Dark Money group. Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of people. It is not a secret, and it never was. There's the implication in the article that this is some arm of the DNC or the Democratic Party. We have literally nothing to do with the...
Wait, okay, now he's being like, now he's attacking like an implication. There's some implication that we are the arm of the DNC. Did the article say you are an arm of the DNC or did it not? You can't say there's an implication in the article that we are the arm of the DNC. Did the article call you an arm of the DNC or did you not? Or did it not? Right? Because the truth is, you serve the same interests. You do the same thing. So even if you're not directly affiliated with the DNC, you're not that far off, buddy.
DNC. I spend 0 minutes of my day thinking about the DNC. The creators do not toe any party line. How could we? There isn't a party line. Creators are absolutely allowed to speak out against the Democrats, and in fact, plenty do. And frankly, Chorus...
Release list. Release a list of creators. I don't believe you. I'm sorry. You can like Taylor, not like Taylor. Taylor came with receipts. I don't believe you. I think you're lying. So what do we do now? We're at an impasse. Taylor has receipts. You have nothing, really. You're just saying, believe me, please. And I don't believe you. So, interesting. Also, as Taylor said, right? I wish he would give it one example, a single example of a creator who is not literally the founder of the nonprofit that had posted about Chorus before the article dropped. Just one. I'm sure it's somewhere, right? Wouldn't be that hard to find.
Creators should and do criticize Democrats when they suck, and quite often they do suck. I've seen posts saying that this is APAC funded, which couldn't be further from the truth. I'd venture to guess that most Chorus creators, myself included on both YouTube and Substack, have spoken out against the atrocities in Gaza. Lorenz says that the
When? Just curious. Just when? Just curious. No, inaccurate? No, I don't think he's inaccurate. My question is when? When have they spoken out? Was it after, I don't know, let's say somewhere around January of 2025? You know, was it potentially after somewhere around November of 2024? What could have happened around those times, in those dates, that could have shifted a lot of people's minds when it comes to speaking out about the genocide? I'm curious. Does have a single video on Gaza on his YouTube? But don't you know, he talked about it once on October 13th, 2023, and then again in January 2025. He wasn't purposefully not talking about it while Joe Biden was in office. What? That would be crazy. That would be crazy. How dare you insinuate that?
1630 Fund is, quote, a powerful liberal dark money group. 1630 Fund is our fiscal sponsor. One of the largest documented donors to 1630 Fund is the same person funding Meteor's Reporters in Residence program, which Taylor Lorenz herself is a part of. And guess what her monthly stipend is? $8,000 per month. So she's criticizing an entity that is funded by someone that she is currently taking money from. I guess it's okay when Taylor Lorenz gets paid, but no one else.
I mean, yeah, Taylor Lorenz is not a freaking pro-genocide. Again, I wouldn't have any problem with this if like they actually funded left-wing creators who were who were pro-Palestinian. As I said at the beginning of this section, Attacking the Journalist classic, true. Journalists came out and actually unwebbed something that they actually did go as far as to keep hidden. Do they have editorial control over Taylor? That I don't know the answer to. The answer is no, they don't. But yeah, like the issue is that one, Reed Henry's point, they have message, they have a great point. No. Right, point being is that he did kind of skip over the entire thing in the disclosure part. Again, which he has not proven. He has not proven that any Chorus creator disclosed that they were a part of Chorus before the article came out. Hey, and if he proves that, maybe it'll be a different story. But he has not proven that yet. Retailer being paid. Brian is lying. I have zero financial ties to 1630, and neither does the Meteor Network LLC reporting program, which is not dark money or is nonpartisan. Brian took dark money and failed to disclose his funding. I didn't take dark money, disclose my funding. Yeah, that's literally what the difference is. That's it. Again, I would have less of a problem with this if they just said, hey, this is who's paying me. Right? Especially, and it's even worse for Brian Tyler Cohen, because for the last however long, he's been getting paid as the co-founder of this organization, right? On top of making the content that he's paying himself to make, essentially. You know? On top of not disclosing it. So, like, he's been, like, triple dipping. Zero disclosures. People didn't even know it existed. Which, again, if Taylor's wrong, I think he should demonstrate that, and then maybe I'll change my mind. Right? But he has not demonstrated that Taylor has been wrong about anything. It's literally just like a whataboutism.
The monthly stipend that we offer is so that creators can do this work full time. We've had numerous creators in the cohort quit their jobs so that they can focus on creating content full time. That is what we want. I'm really proud that we can give creators that security for as long as they're in the program. We want people to create pro-democracy content full time.
Again, pro-democracy content as in like the best thing we can do for democracy right now is not have a Democratic primary. By the way, these people are the people that they're paying. I just want to point that out there just so that we all know and understand. Right? And again, why none of these people are, pro-Palestinian creators is pretty interesting. I think it's interesting.
And we want to make sure that they can afford to pay their rent and their bills while doing it. If I could have cohorts with 1,000 people in it so that everybody could be part of the program, I would. For everybody saying that they would like to be part of the next cohort, we would love for you to apply. That's our whole goal. It's to build up an army of pro-democracy content creators who can speak authentically.
Again, pro-democracy. Meaningless phrase, by the way. An absolutely meaningless phrase.
About the issues that they care about and be able to do it as effectively as possible. I should note that while I started this program, I have never and will never get paid. I do this 100% as a volunteer. I have never earned a dime from Chorus, and I never will. I want every dollar that...
Maybe. I wonder if he made any money from the 1630 fund or something like that. I think it would be a good way to keep himself clean if he doesn't pay himself directly. You know what I mean? He doesn't get paid by Chorus, he gets paid by the people who pay Chorus. Is this like the Unfuck America thing? Yes, it is. Well, potentially. Z Cohen Sanchez does not get paid by the Unfuck America tour, but Z Cohen Sanchez gets paid out by Soul Strategies, who is funding the Unfuck America tour, who gets funders like the 1630 fund to pay Soul Strategies that then pays the Unfuck America tour. Right? And so the way it works is like you have the 1630 fund up here. It gets its money from a bunch of places. And then they play out Soul Strategies. We'll just say Soul. Right? Soul Strategies then it puts on the Unfreak America tour. Right? And it's owned by Z. And Z gets paid by Soul Strategies as the executive director. And the Unfuck America tour is over here and it's separate. So Z says the Unfuck America tour is not paying me, which is technically correct because Soul Strategies is paying her. And Soul Strategies is also paying the Unfuck America tour. Right? And it could be similar. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it could be similar for Brian Tyler Cohen, who could potentially be getting paid by the 1630 fund. And separately from that, they also pay for Chorus. Right? So he's not getting paid from Chorus, but he's instead getting paid from the 1630 fund, which also pays Chorus. Not saying that that's what's happening, but I'm saying that would technically mean he's telling the truth by this statement.
That we raise to go to creators so that they can do this important work without spending 8 hours a day working at some different job. I've been saying for
Like, I don't believe he's doing this for free. If I'm being entirely real.
years that the left needs to build up its creator space. That has never been more true than it is right now. Influencers and creators have never been more important when it comes to how Americans are consuming their news. The left is a decade behind right now. We desperately need incubators teaching and amplifying new content creators, and not just Chorus, by the way. There are other programs in this space doing the same thing. I want all of them to succeed. We need all of them to succeed. There are people like Taylor Lorenz who are desperate to tear the left apart, and in fact, it becomes clear who her efforts help when you hear stuff like this.
Genuinely, I kind of like Taylor Lorenz because I know that she actually believes what she says. Do you get what I'm saying?
So yeah, I generally don't align myself with friends of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Like, okay, I love liberals just being like, oh, here's just one snippet of a right-winger being like, I don't know, this person sounds kind of a smart. You're a liberal. Of course you're aligning with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. You do. This is just the case. This is what liberals do.
I continue to believe that the left needs massive investments into the independent media space. I'm really proud of the program that we've built. I'm really proud that we've allowed creators to do this work full time. I'm really proud of the independence that they have to say whatever they want to say.
Don't believe it. Why have none of them talked about Palestine to an effective degree? Why are there no pro-Palestinian creators there? Why do they all seem to be like milquetoast liberals who are, pro-Israel? I don't know. I think it's just interesting coincidence. Interesting coincidences. You also conveniently clipped two conservatives against Israel. That's also true, but maybe that's just, coincidence again. Coincidence once again.
In whatever way they want to say it. I'm really proud that our creators are seeing their channels and their pages grow. My goal is to see an army emerge from the left to take on what's happening on the right. Taylor Lorenz and Republicans don't want to see it, but we do. If you also want to get in the fight, apply to the program at wearechorus.org.
And now they're using this as a way to and this is why I'm still talking about this and why I will not stop talking about this. They're using it as a way to advertise their program so that they get more funding, so that they keep enriching themselves, and they will not do anything effective. It's full of lib commenters defending this, just saying the right influencers get paid to do the same thing. Why can't our side do it? Because they're stupid. Nobody is saying that you can't get paid for doing this. The problem is that the people that are getting paid just happen to be the pro-Israel liberal people and never the effective left-wing, socialist constituency. That's not weird to y'all. Right? You have a watermelon in your bio. You know what I mean? You don't understand how that's kind of strange? And why those left-wing people would be, I don't know, a little bit apprehensive to trust these initiatives that are like, oh no, we'll promise we're going to get to you too. We're just going to keep enriching ourselves first. No. We promise it's not about Palestine. We can fund you as well. But we're going to get our money first. And then maybe in cohort number 7 or 8, we'll add a few of y'all into that one. And they expect us to be okay with that. They put not a single pro-Palestinian voice in this initiative, and they expect the pro-Palestinian voices on the left to just to be fine with that and not criticize why it seems to be, over-representative of pro-Israel sentiment. And then you criticize that, and then they're claiming that you are eating the left. Right? They're calling us wreckers. They're calling us woke of the day wreckers because we have the audacity to be like, hey, this seems very over-representative of the pro-Israel sentiment. That's a bit weird. Why that's the case. You know? They don't care about being effective. There is no reason they should be paying Olivia Juliana and Harry Sisson and not paying Hassan. Not even reaching out to Hassan. Right? So I think they're rightfully being criticized by the fact that, like, I don't know, maybe y'all are just Democratic Party shows. I don't know. And then one more time for people, also I'm freaking tired. One more time for people at the back in case you're just getting here. This is what I had to say February 19th of last year. February 19th, 2024. Right? And I'm gonna keep playing this because it's so evergreen. Just listen to it. You know the crazy part about that, specifically from like the influencer side of it, they were offering influencers like thousands of dollars in order to post only good things about the IRA. And if you were like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit critical in my video, and they'd be like, oh, you're critical, you don't get the money. And so if you see influencers that are like, that's why I always say, if you see influencers that are unable to be critical of Biden to any degree, there is a good chance that through some maybe proxies or organizations, they're getting paid to say the things that they are getting paid or they're saying. You know the crazy part about that? Yeah. And that's the main problem. That's the main problem. These people that he's talking about here, that Brian Tyler Cohen's talking about, are people who can never be critical of the Democratic Party, no matter what he says. They were Biden dead enders. They defended Biden. They encouraged Biden to run again. Right? And then when he ran and he failed in the debate, they told him that his debate performance was fine. He should not drop out. Until he was forced to drop out by who? By us. And then they were like, Kamala's doing everything possible. That's the perfect. She can never be any better. Right? She should not move on Gaza. She should not do an arms embargo. She should be more pro-Israel. She lost the election. And now they're getting rewarded for losing the election. And then they expect us to be okay with that. They expect us to be like, well, they're on the left with us, so it's fine if they enrich themselves, and we should not criticize it as leftists who have always been correct and probably always will be correct while they continue to lose and fail upwards. Right? I am not an oracle, chat. I have a little bit of pattern recognition. When I said, be wary of people who can never criticize the Democratic Party or Joe Biden, right? Because they are likely getting paid by shadowy proxy organizations, right? That's not oracle behavior. That's pattern recognition. And then look, people who were never critical of Joe Biden getting paid by a shadowy proxy dark money organization. What a surprise. It's so frustrating. But here, let's see one of the other examples of this from the election cycle.
Perhaps you've noticed our social media feeds are now a battleground in the race for the White House. And in this space, Democrats have deployed influencers to win over voters online. In tonight's Eye on America, Jolene Kent reveals their sophisticated and expensive tactics.
Look at the volume in this hair.
23-year-old Awasane made a name for herself dispensing beauty tips on TikTok.
I just peed in the White House.
So when she posted this video of her White House bathroom break, her 500,000 followers took notice.
I was just shocked. I was like, did you guys see that marble?
Sane, who met us in Houston, was one of a few dozen influencers invited to the White House to watch the State of the Union and meet President Biden.
He said to us, the collective presence in this room has more viewership on Gen Z than all of traditional media combined. So here's my birth control vlog.
It was this viral video she posted after the fall of Roe v. Wade.
Over the United States in my uterus?
That initially caught the attention of a Democratic super PAC. On the right, Turning Point USA has mobilized influencers for years, raising nearly $200 million since 2020.
You realize they're coming for you guys next.
Now, Democratic organizations are flooding the creator community with cash and providing behind-the-scenes access.
Come with me to meet the President of the United States.
We just have to be working with them, and if we're not, we're missing a huge way that voters are getting information about the world.
Rob Flaherty runs digital strategy, previously in the Biden White House and now for the Harris campaign.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
He called the highly memeable Harris a massive asset as the campaign reaches out to thousands of influencers.
What kind of coaching do you give influencers acting on behalf of the Harris campaign?
Talking points, resources, base language.
While Flaherty says the Harris campaign does not pay influencers directly, CBS News found a constellation of other Democratic political organizations.
I want you to guess who one of the funders for these organizations are. Chat. I just want you to throw a guess out there based upon what we've been talking about.
That do. In May, Future Forward, the super PAC supporting Harris, hosted panels like Gaming the...
Okay, y'all did not guess very well. It's freaking 1630. The 1630 fund. We just talked about them, chat. Gosh, lock in. It's 1630. 1630 funds Future Forward. Right? Which also did not invite me. Because I, along with other people, have potentially been blacklisted.
Super PAC supporting Harris hosted panels like Gaming the Algorithm and how advocacy can benefit your business.
In the first 100 days of a Republican...
He's one of the creators on the course homepage with Speaker Jeffries. Oh, this is the dumb lady. I saw a screenshot of the TikTok comments. And
Hi, everybody. I am here with...
They were like, lady, please get a lawyer. Please get a lawyer and stop talking. You know what I mean? Anna's very pro-Palestine. How is she there? Ari has a interesting in with people that I do not talk to or engage with, such as Progressive Victory in that space. I know she went to one of their events or whatever. One of their door knocking things. I don't know much more about that.
House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, and you guys know that last night I covered a lot of footage when it came to that crazy 1 a.m. vote with the big budget bill. We call it the big ugly bill with the Medicaid. Big ugly bill with the Medicaid.
There's just no sauce. I'm looking at 1630's 2020 tax return right now. Future Forward USA received 7.5 mil. Yeah, I've done my own snooping and looking.
Medicaid cuts. And I want to talk about how this affects private health insured individuals.
I don't care. She's so boring. Anyway, let's move back on.
Republican presidency under Trump. Project 2025 talks about sacking thousands of civil servants.
Last month, Sunay says she was hired by Protect Our Care, a progressive advocacy group that relies on anonymous donors. She made a video warning about Trump's second-term agenda.
They almost help you script it, right?
Right, definitely.
She takes their talking points and puts them into her own voice, saying she always discloses when she's being paid.
What's your rate?
So a video just for a creator in my size, an average can go from $3,000 to $10,000 depending and upwards.
This is a bid by campaigns to create authenticity at a small scale.
University of Pittsburgh's Sam Woolley studies political influencers.
How can you tell what is a genuine grassroots expression of political opinion versus what's being paid for?
If you see multiple influencers spreading the same exact message, you can start to realize, some kind of coordination is going on.
Next up for Sunday, the Democratic National Convention.
They just told us that if we wanted to put on our own show, that they would give us all the resources to do that.
The Democrats are rolling out the red carpet.
Definitely, and I'm glad to be on it.
The beauty influencer now applying her own filter to this presidential campaign. For Eye on America, Jolene Kent, Houston.
And not to come at her, but I guarantee that if you scroll through her videos for the time of oh jeez, I'm freaking please, I'm dying. I have one piece of tissue left. Okay, that's a sign I need to log off soon. Anyway, I don't make any broad sweeping assumptions about this person's or that person's like ideology, but I guarantee that if you check her TikTok page from December 2023 to July, August of 2024, there will be very little Palestine content in there. Because if you have Palestine content, you're not getting approached for those offers. Right? And I can tell you that because I know people who have Palestine content who used to get invited to these things that no longer get invited to those things. And they've been told that it's because of pro-Palestinian sentiment. And being pro-Palestinian puts off the same people who fund, these influencers. Even though Brian Tyler Cohen says like, oh, we're not the DNC, they're funded by the same people. Feels like a political hack, to be honest. Yes, we know Trump bad. No. She's not a political hack. She's not a political creator at all. She's a beauty creator who talks about politics sometimes. That's where the difference is. Those of these people getting offers weren't just silent. They were actually telling people to live about and support Israel. No, most of the people were silent. Just by the consequence of the term most. Like the definition of the term most, like over 50% of the people were just silent. It was a minority. It was a loud minority of people being like, support Israel. Like the Aaron Parnas. Be like, support Israel. Like those were the loud minority. BTC and Pac-Man both admitted they avoid talking about Gaza to avoid controversy. Yeah. And by controversy, they mean, not getting paid. And I think this should be held against these people. I do. I think this should be held against them. Right? And they should not be taken seriously in sorry, something that I was confused about. Anyway, I need to go. I'm tired. But before I go, does anybody have a link to the Too Raw, Too Stupid's response? I want to watch that one, and that'll be the end of it. More to avoid breaking that contract. No, at the time, there was no contract. Also, BTC is the co-founder of this organization, so he didn't have a contract. It's important to understand that they were doing this in an effort to chase money, not because they already had money in the banks. That's a big distinction. They weren't not talking about Gaza because they wanted to keep money they were already getting. They avoided talking about Gaza because they didn't want to interrupt any future endeavors of making money, right? From like Zionist, like pro-Israel dollars. And that, in my opinion, is worse. Right? That's worse. Because they were cowards for the potential of having money in the future, as opposed to being cowards to get money. Also, I ratioed this guy. I could have just looked at my tweet. ratioing him. Yeah. I just saw your real sub goal. You've been in here for like a few days. How do you not see my real sub goal? It's above me. It stays above me. Right up there. Once it changes and somebody subscribes.
Damn it, Taylor. You caught me. You caught me like Colonel Mustard in the Library of the Candlestick. You got the clue, girl. You did it. This is what we talking about, real journalism. I'm talking about she's giving Diane Sawyer a run for her motherfucking money.
What is it? Diane, tell me. Do you know? Do you really know? Do you really know?
No, you know.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, please.
Let me start off by saying this. Taylor Lorenz, you're a piece of shit, and I don't know how you can call yourself a journalist without even doing a lick of fucking research. You're just thirsty. So I want you to drink this up. You said in your article that we are not allowed to disclose the fact that we are cohorts of Chorus. If that's the case, then why did it November 20th, to be precise, 2 weeks after the election, I had a donation link and a video disclosing the fact that I was trying to partner up with Chorus where we were trying to get funding. There was a donation link in it.
Okay, even if that's the case, trying to get funding and being an early adopter of Chorus is different than like the contracts that Taylor Lorenz would have seen, right? What did the contract say? All you're telling me is that you're in on it. That's all you're telling me, is that you're not just a creator in Chorus. You're one of the first early adopters of Chorus. You might be one of the executives of Chorus. What are the contracts that these creators are signing? And what does that say? Why don't you show the contracts? Why not you show the contracts? Show the contracts. Show whatever this standard confidentiality clause is. And then we can judge for ourselves.
Still up there in my bio. This isn't breaking news. My followers know. Everybody knows. We hosted forums. I'm confused on how this is news. And secondly, you wrote about Chorus before. Did you not write an article saying that they weren't paying content creators, Chorus isn't doing anything, that content creators feel like they're not getting paid, they're doing free labor, this, that, and the other? So which one is it? Are we getting paid? Are we not getting paid? What the fuck do you really know? Thirdly, and apparently, we're not allowed.
Why does he ever address the claim? After knocking on doors of lawmakers' offices unannounced, creators were able to secure some decent content. Collectively, the group content generated 53 million views, but afterwards, they were asked to submit the content that they created to Chorus in order to get their travel costs reimbursed. No creators were paid for the content they made. This irked the creators, who felt like Chorus now wanted to use their content to put on the deck in order to show Democrats hired by Chorus.
Let's go.
Who hired Chorus, show the Democrats who hired Chorus how successful their activation was, when in reality, the creators say they received little to no support. So this is coming from the creators. So this is creators saying that they feel like they should have been paid because Chorus is fundraising off of their content, right? On top of the fact that, like, again, this also could have been an earlier model of like Chorus. I don't know the timeline here about like, this is what Chorus did originally, and then they moved to paying people. I don't know. Point being, regardless, is that were all the disclosures beforehand? You know, what does the contract say? Whether you enforce the contract, didn't enforce the contract, who cares, whatever. Did the contract state or stipulate that creators can or cannot talk about their association with Chorus? It's very simple. Right? I don't care about like some creators said that they didn't get paid and some creators said that they wanted to get paid and didn't get paid. Creators were actually being paid. That doesn't matter to me. The question is, does the contract stipulate that creators can or cannot talk about like Chorus? That's what this article is speaking about. That's why it's called a dark money group. If the contract didn't say that and Taylor was wrong, you can show the contract and I'd be like, yeah, Taylor was wrong about that. But neither person has shown the contract so far.
Chorus isn't doing anything. The content creators feel like they're not getting paid. They're doing free labor, this, that, and the other. So which one is it? Are we getting paid? Are we not getting paid? What the fuck do you really know? Thirdly, and apparently, we're not allowed to bash Democrats or actually give them any type of constructive criticism. However, I swear I'd be on damn Bernie Sanders' ass like flies on shit. I do.
Yeah, because you're a loser. Like, you don't criticize Bernie Sanders because he's a Democrat. You criticize Bernie Sanders because you're anti-progressive. You're criticizing Bernie Sanders at the behest of the Democratic Party. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, he's literally punching left.
I do recall my video going viral of what the fuck Chuck when I called him out about the continuing resolution and how he did not hold the motherfucking line with the rest of the damn Democrats in the House. Because motherfuckers like this will not get the job done. How can you sit here?
I don't know if I would say 150 views is viral. But if that's Charles, that's viral. If 150,000 views is viral, let me tell you, I should be getting paid $8K. I should be getting paid $8K. Dog, I sneeze and I get 1 million impressions on my tweets. Like, what are we talking about here? You know what I mean? No, I don't even get like, yeah, I get like 1 million liked tweets. You know what I mean? I get 200,000 liked tweets. You know? I get like 9 million impressions on my freaking tweets. Like, we're talking about like baby numbers. If that's what we're calling viral. You know? But again, also one isolated instance of being like, Chuck, no. Why are you doing this? Please. It's not like evidence that you are criticizing the Democratic Party. Post a video of you sneezing and let's test it out. Stop. Yeah, we already covered that from Kay Klippenstein.
Here and say that you care about us, but you're selling us to Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I don't see how you can say that you care about Medicaid and you care about veterans and all these other things, but you said that you're gonna vote for this shit. What are we doing here? I'm confused. Nothing you're saying is making any sense in my platform.
Early in the article, the only person that was booked for interviews and potentially paid by Chorus was BTC. This is incorrect. Chorus pays creators a like stipend or a salary. They don't pay for videos. Oh, if you mean in this article, that may be the case. But like in the new article, right? Chorus does pay creators a stipend of $250 to $8,000 per month. Isn't that video after the election? Yes.
From shows something of the contrary, ma'am. Ain't been nothing but full transparency over here, sis. Seems like you're just a saltine salad. Eat you a salad, sis. You're not yourself when you're hungry. Make sure you get a lot of croutons and some ranch dressing to match your complexion, because that's really what it comes down to.
Are you paid on Reels? I'm not paid on any short form content platform. I'm not paid on really any platform, really, outside of Twitch and occasionally YouTube with like a few like dozen dollars every month from like ad revenue. That's it though. Twitch is where I get my money. So for your subscribing is what pays my bills, chat. Your channel's been getting 1K views pop off. I've been posting and growing on YouTube. They're calling for creators to release the contract. We'll get to that in a second, but I agree.
Down to, isn't it? Y'all are so used to content creators always doing shit for free, and y'all don't think that we deserve the funding when the mere fact of the matter.
Honestly, I don't think he deserves the funding. I've been a hater of this guy for years. Look at my old TikTok content. Is that Christian? On my feed, yeah, that was Christian.
Joe Biden cancels all of my student loan debt.
This was August 25th, 2022.
He needs to keep his campaign promise that was never his motherfucking promise, bitch.
First of all, fuck you. Your condescension for poor people who want a little bit more to make their lives a little bit better is insane to me. But also, yes, it was his campaign promise. And since you obviously didn't look it up before you made this video, I'll show it to you. Medium article he wrote, April 9th, 2020. He said this. I'm sure you can read. You can pause to read that. I've been a hater. I have been a hater of this person for, at this point, going on 3 years. Right? Going on 3 years. Speaking of this, me and Hassan were on stream. Here.
Part of the work.
It does on TikTok.
Yes.
Also Black History Month. This is a black person. His name is the Too Raw, Too Real.
Oh, dude, this is the K-Hive guy.
Yes, it is. That's
this
the K-Hive.
Is the K-Hive
Yep,
guy.
Yep.
Yo, he's the best. He's at least entertaining, though.
This is funny.
I mean, he's entertaining in like the most.
I told you, I've been a hater. I've been a hater. A hater of this guy. Not Hassan, which I'm still a hater of that guy too. But this loser. BC retweeting the thread because it's more liberal leaning. I mean, that's not surprising. But yeah, since creators of the 1630 paid influencer program are so eager for transparency, why don't they publish the full contract they signed? They say that it's not private information anymore, so publish it. Let people read exactly what they've been published, agreed to, and publish the Zoom onboardings where the program obligations were outlined. I mean, true. If they want transparency. Also, Mabel Taste, thank you for the raid. I didn't forget. I'm half COVID brain right now, so you have to bear with me. You gotta bear with me. But yeah, that's true. Release the list. How much damage does it do to liberal creators? Honestly, it's hard to tell, but more than ever has been done to them before. Was that you tested negative on the COVID test? I tested again this morning and I got positive. So, yep, that's right. I got wrecked in the face by COVID. Oh, I should have went live on TikTok talking about this. Maybe I spin the block. I do this exact same thing tomorrow morning, but live on TikTok. Eh? Who's with me? It's never too late. No, it is. I need to end stream. I need to sleep. I'm tired. Anyway, I don't know what else more is there to say about this. Oh, from October 8th, 2023 to November 6th, 2024, Brian Tyler Cohen made one single tweet with the phrase Israel or Palestine or Gaza in it. In it, he justifies supporting Biden despite enabling a genocide. This person should not have any influence in politics. Yeah. Yeah. Just restream and take the day off. That feels weird to me. BTC raided me one time and regretted it immediately. Wait, he's on Twitch? I never got a raid from me. It's because I'm black. It's because I'm black. This was the AIPAC funded, correct? No, it wasn't AIPAC funded. Progressive except Palestine. No, it's not even. He's not even progressive except Palestine. Brian Tyler Cohen is not progressive. He's just a regular liberal. He's a Hillary Clinton style liberal. He's not progressive. Right? He's like aligned with like freaking Hakeem Jeffries. Slightly more left than Chuck Schumer. BTC is like calling D himself progressive. Yeah, but Destiny's a reactionary, so it is like similar. But like at least like Brian Tyler Cohen is an actual liberal. Destiny's a reactionary. He's not even a liberal. Don't really care for BTC, but they all come off so slimy with this. Yeah. Brian seems much farther left than Hutch, though. Yeah, but Hutch is also a reactionary. He's not like a racist reactionary like Destiny is, but Hutch is reactionary. Hutch doesn't have any ideology. It's just whatever leftist online thinks, he's against it. Hutch is also not a liberal. He's a reactionary. Right? Brian Tyler Cohen is like I would say, the perfect example of like somebody who's actually a liberal who holds liberal positions. Not like a left-ish liberal, not a progressive liberal. He's a bog standard, regular, Obama-style liberal. He's Atriarch. I would say Atriarch is still more progressive than Brian, to a certain extent. But yes, that's the closest allegory. Yeah. What a pleasant morning. Surprise, you're streaming. Well, it's 10 p.m. for me, chat, so it's nighttime for me. He's like a Pod John. Exactly. He's like a Pod John. Hutch is the epitome of an Obama-era liberal. Hutch was an Obama-era liberal before he started getting into like Twitch drama and stuff. Now he's purely reactionary. You know, I did not forget I have to go. My sinuses are literally killing me whenever I talk. It hurts so much. Is he friends with the Padrons? That wouldn't be surprising. Wonder if Lemonade Stand got money. Listen, I'll just say, Lemonade Stand did do a stream with Gavin Newsom. I don't know if that was a paid stream. I don't know what the deal is with that. But they did do a stream with Gavin Newsom. I could see Lena Khan being a separate thing. I just don't know. It was with Harry Sisson too, though. That's what makes it even worse. That's what leads me to believe that it may have been a paid thing. Because there's no reason for Harry Sisson to be there. He's not a part of Lemonade Stand. He's also not on Gavin Newsom's press team. So it could have been through a third-party proxy organization like 1630, like Progressive Victory, or something like that. Right? It could have been a paid opportunity. I just don't know. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it could have been. But I'll just say this. There have been a few instances where I've been offered money to do stuff that I don't align with, and I don't do it. Like, Progressive Victory reached out to me to fly me to DC for a election watch party. I didn't do it because they were Destiny aligned, Destiny and Vosh aligned, and I thought that was gross. And I'm glad I didn't, because like it is gross. And one of those like Polymarket as like betting sites also reached out to me to sponsor me during the election. I didn't take it. Right? I do get reached out to for certain things, but I don't take a lot of things. Even if it would pay me money. Integrity is valuable. Yeah, but I will say I do understand being a small, up-and-coming, marginalized creator talking about politics, not getting paid anything because you don't get brand deals, and somebody offers you $1,000 a month, which is $1,000 more than you were getting before, and why you would be like, sure, I'll do that to be like to do what I've already been doing. So I don't want to chastise every creator that paid for this or got paid by Chorus. Just the ones that suck. You know? If you take a fat bag for one stream, I ain't gonna be mad. Yeah, but you might not be mad, and my entire chat might not be mad, but 4 to 6 months down the line, somebody on Twitter will be mad about it. This is what I've learned. You know what I mean? That's why I get so frustrated when people like call me a liberal. You know? That's why it genuinely irks my soul when people call me a liberal. Cause I turn down these opportunities for my integrity pretty often. Right? I try my best to maintain my morals and to stand by what I believe. And the fact that people will just throw me in this box with like Brian Tyler Cohen, Olivia Giuliana, who will like sell out her family for drinking an extra few dollars or whatever. It's frustrating, right? I'm not that. You know, I don't like Harry, but I feel like he's important to grab young men and keep them away from our right-wing pipeline. No, I think you're wrong, Chatter. And dumb. But it's okay. We're all dumb sometimes. Harry's not effective at grabbing young men. He's not demonstrated that effectiveness. Maybe if he demonstrated that effectiveness, it would be different. He has not demonstrated that effectiveness. Who's effective at grabbing young men then? Pretty much nobody in the politics sphere. Hassan does it relatively well. But like RDC Gaming, you know? Freaking Kai Cenat, Agent, Chris. You know? Normal freaking people. Because that's where young men are. That's where young men are going. They're watching freaking gaming content, just like everybody else. Is that keeping them from the pipeline? No, that's why we have to be where they are to stop them from going further down the pipeline. We have no presence in RDC Gaming. We have no presence in AMP. That's the problem. We can't just sit here and keep promoting white men to be our savior for young men, which you mean white men, right? You're not saying it. You mean fucking white men, right? And I wish people would just say what they mean. If you look at Harry Sisson and you're like, he's stopping young men, you're talking about white men. That's it. That's the answer. That's your response. You're talking about, oh, because Harry Sisson is a young white man, he's catching young white men, which is not true. He's not demonstrating his effectiveness in that. You just see a young white kid and you're like, oh, well, he's probably effective with young men. I don't know. I'm wish casting right now. That's what you're doing. That's it. You're not thinking about Latino men. You're not thinking about Asian men. You're not thinking about black men, right? Because if you were thinking about them, it would make a lot of sense to you. When I say, you know, we should be where RDC is. We should be where AMP is, you know? We should be where the Phase Boys are. If you were thinking about marginalized young men, that would make sense to you. That would be like yeah, that makes sense. You know? But you're thinking, how do we save white men? How do we get white men? And you just look at a white man and be like, that is the person, that is our champion for saving or stopping white men. Harry Sisson is not like a beacon of masculinity. He's not appealing to the masculinity that men are engaging with. You think Harry Sisson is like in the gym lifting weights? No, he's not. Do you think Harry Sisson is like the beacon of the masculine ideal that people are appealing to? No, they're not. Harry's not that. Dean's not. I mean, Dean may be that a little bit, right? But Parker's not that. Chris isn't that. They're just white kids. They are literally just white kids. And you just see white kids and you're like, oh, that they will, they like white people would love them because they're also white kids. As opposed to meeting men where they are and talking to them where their interests lie. Again, Harry has not demonstrated that he's effective at courting young men. There's nothing he does or has done to demonstrate that effectiveness. So why are we giving him the position of the champion of young men. It doesn't make sense to me. Harry's a Democratic show. He's a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party. He's no different than Olivia Giuliana. Allegedly prefers courting young women. Yeah. And honestly, maybe that's his role. Apparently he has some skill with courting young white women. That could be useful. But he hasn't demonstrated his pull with young men. He just hasn't. And I will stand on that. In conclusion, I will play my clip one more time. Because I'm out here, chat. I can think of a young POC creator that is mainly political content that has the motion of Harry and Dean. I mean, that's why I'm in your stream. That's the problem. The problem is that there isn't one because we keep promoting people who are ineffective with dealing with white men. White men have been a problem for the left, and we keep promoting people like Harry Sisson to deal with them. Maybe that doesn't work, and maybe we need to be doing better. That's my perspective. Stop looking at Harry Sisson to be the champion for white men. Right? Saw it on Jam and loved them. Yeah. Like JJ is a good example. Because Harry Sisson is not going to and talking to men, right? Doing dating advice. Hassan is. Hassan doing chat advice is literally more for men, right? Than anything Harry Sisson has ever done. Besides, like, get girls. That was the most, like, a men appeal thing that Harry has done. And it was by accident because it was leaked. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? He's not appealing to young men. He's not. He's not going to where young men are. And we need to be better about promoting people who are doing that. We should make our space more, FD is my favorite creator, but he's not appealing to young men either. Yes, he is. FD is appealing more to young men than Harry Sisson ever does. Don't get it twisted, chat. FD Signifier talking about rap history, talking about rap music is appealing to young men way more than Harry Sisson ever can imagine. Ever can imagine. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. I think you're very optics focused, chat. I think you see Harry Sisson as a young white man, and you're like, that's our champion for white men. Genuinely. I think you're very optics focused. You look at the optics of having a young white man in the position of talking to young men, and you're like, that's our guy. When again, Harry Sisson has not demonstrated to anybody that he's effective in courting young men. He has not done a single thing to demonstrate his effectiveness. I don't think FD will ever de-radicalize someone, but he's a good teacher for educating someone about seeking information as in like a teacher. No, I can see him de-radicalizing people, like black people. Maybe because you're not black, you wouldn't necessarily see that benefit. Like, I think he does a good job of like taking in black people, like black men again, and like unwrapping that like misogyny, which is still de-radicalization. To be clear, I'm not a Harry or Dean guy whatsoever. I want to say that his presence on TikTok is important to grasp young men, mostly white, who are easy to radicalize to the right way. I think you're wrong. I'm saying, I think I understand your position. You are incorrect, chatter. I'm not coming at you specifically, but I'm telling you that you are wrong. You're wrong. You're incorrect. He has not demonstrated that his presence on TikTok does grasp young men. He has not done that. If you have some evidence of the contrary, I will take a look at it and I will reevaluate my position. But he has not demonstrated that he has that kind of pull with young men. FD has. He has demonstrated that he has that kind of pull. Harry Sisson did not and does not demonstrate that he has any sort of motion over pulling young men in. He's just a liberal voice online who is a white man. And again, if you think that just him being a white man is what's doing it rather than his actions, that's where I say you're very optics focused, right? And I think you're incorrect. If I practice like, oh no, he's just a white man, and by being a white man, he pulls men from being right wingers, I think you're incorrect. Anyway, I won't litigate this too much further. I need to go to sleep. My eyes are freaking killing me. My sinuses hurt. I don't like COVID. I'll end you. I'm sorry. I did not mean that, Chad. I did not mean that I will end you. I'll end the stream by saying, "My Chad, I ruined a good stream." No, you didn't ruin a stream. I think it's a fair and fine discourse to have about like. Okay, I don't think Harry Sisson is about to go get the Henny. Right? If you ruin the stream, you would know. I banned for a lot less. I'll say. I banned for a lot less. So the fact that we're having this conversation now means you did fine. Oh, he's gonna end us. Ugh. All right. I'll end it with this clip that I found earlier today. You know the crazy part about that, specifically from like the influencer side of it, they were offering. Sorry, the Omega. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I can't talk. I need to stop talking. Okay. You know the crazy part about that, specifically from like the influencer side of it, they were offering influencers like thousands of dollars in order to post only good things about the IRA. And if you were like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit critical in my video, and they'd be like, oh, you're critical, you don't get the money. And so if you see influencers that are like, that's why I always say, if you see influencers that are unable to be critical of Biden to any degree, there is a good chance that through some maybe proxies or organizations, they're getting paid to say the things that they are getting paid or they're saying. You know the crazy part about that? Yeah, that's where I'll end it. Okay, I'm just gonna play some music real quick. Okay. Thanks for watching, chat. You were on it. Yeah, I mean, I will say, people are saying like you never miss. I have missed before, and I have apologized for things that I've said that I was wrong about. I've taken accountability for things I could have done better before. But I am right a lot. I will take my W on that. I am correct quite a bit. And if people listen to me more often, they would be less surprised by stuff that goes on. Any final thoughts? Why is Marsh streaming? Sure. Take some zinc with that W. Marsh is alive. But you really miss and your opinions. Thank you. Now, all I need is for other streamers to take me seriously and collab with me. That's it, honestly. That will make me happy. If I hit 1K average viewers and I did more collabs, like if they just, I don't know, invite me to like Among Us lobbies or something, just off the top of my head, you know, that'll be cool. That'll be fun. Or like, you know, they play Peak. I have Peak installed, you know, stuff like that. Just once that starts happening, that's how I know I would have made it as a streamer. You know, I would have fulfilled all of my goals as a streamer, which I could probably go find. So I do want to look at my 2025 goals. Go on Caroline's stream. I think Caroline will have me on at some point for something. But yeah, I do have to go. My eye is literally killing me. See if you can play with Timmy the Game Guy and his Turkish friend. Shout out Timmy the Game Guy. It'll be funny. I want a Sean and Caroline podcast. Podcast. Oh, bye chat. Goodbye. I have to go. Raid's happening. Goodbye. Adios. Goodbye.